Hey guys, it's been a little while since I've made a video and I thought I would take you with me today as I look at the seeds that I have and start my 2021 garden plans. So let's go. Something we're always talking about on the garden pages is how do you store your seeds? And one of the big things that I've seen this year is the photo boxes. They are really great. They stay dry and they're a great solution. But for me, I like everything to be extra pretty. And so mine are in these boxes. These boxes were like super cheap. They're at the top of my stairs or like on my little landing. And they just open like that. And I have one for herbs, one for flowers, one for veggies. And then the bottom are all my seed catalogs. So let's take a look inside. So here are a few of the things that I am definitely growing this year. A lot of those I've never grown. I'm gonna say most of these. I've never grown these specific varieties. So I'm gonna do the Chicago pickling cucumber. I have grown this last year and it did really well. And the Howden pumpkins, we did this one last year as well. Jack-o'-lantern pumpkins, we did this one as well last year. I also did this Black Beauty zucchini. Only got one plant out of mine last year and I had a heck of a time with squash bugs, but we're going to try it again. I've not grown kidney beans, but I eat a lot of them, so I thought definitely have to add those to the mix this year. Holy basil. We have not grown any basils before, so this is going to be the first year doing basil. Borage. Calendula. So I have strawberry blonde and a couple other different varieties. I have grown calendula because I use it to make my calendula salves. Zinger hibiscus. So I've not tried that before. Moringa, I've not grown myself before. Feverfew, we have grown this one. Clary sage, not grown it from seed, but I have grown clary sage. St. John's wort is going to be my first time for that. Chamomile, first time for that. First time for the dragon's tongue beans. French breakfast radish. I had to turn the camera off because Pippa, who has a very, very loud bark, Pippa, started yapping at something outside. So, all right, so the French breakfast radish, we've done radish, but not the French breakfast. Kohlrabi, free plant, so got to plant it, never done it. Beets, we've done beets, but before it was the Detroit Red. So this year we're going to do the Early Wonder. Sweet peppers, other than bell peppers and regular jalapeno, I haven't grown any, so this is going to be a first for me. Not a pino, so they are supposed to taste like a jalapeno without the heat, so this will be a first for them. First for the banana, first for the etuda, first for this lettuce. This is the 4 season. We have done the Bloomsdale spinach before. First time with the Swiss chard. First time with ground cherries. First time with the Paul Robeson. First time with the blueberry. And first time with the pink boar. I have done the Kentucky Wonder green beans previously. Stevia I have not done. I heard it can be a little tricky, so I'm interested to see how that goes. We have not grown comfrey ourselves. And then for flowers, some of the new ones that we're doing this year are the Gaillardia. We're doing the red spike amaranth, which should be really, really pretty. Seed dahlia. Dara, which is like your carrot flowers. These white marigolds, aren't they precious? I'm so excited about these. Queen lime orange zinnia. I'm doing several zinnia this year. And this one's new to me too, and it's the Snacker sunflower, which I really wanted to get into the sunflowers for the seeds this year. and not just for the flower, just for the looks. So these are just some of the new varieties that I'm going to do this year. And let's go outside and look at our areas that we have for planting and see what I'm thinking I'm going to do for this year. It's a little windy today. So, and there's of course always background noise because I live in a neighborhood and my street is the main street that goes through the neighborhood. So it's very busy all the time. But this is the potager garden as it stands. We have been having a really hard problem past year with a drainage issue because we live at the bottom of a hill. And this has stayed wet most of the year. It's very swampy. And you can see that it's just like mud. And you can see where the water has come up. This is just from the water. And this is wet. This is all wet. And it hasn't rained here in a week or more. And this is all just mud and muck. So originally my plan was to put a nice arch here with some flowers and maybe some type of beans, some pulp beans at this fence, and then add a couple more beds on this side and some more raised beds on this side. But because this is the side that stays sopping wet, I think I'm just going to move these beds here in this big empty space where I was going to build new beds and then build some type of beds that are up a little bit off of the ground for this area. So I have one bed that's like that now that my brother-in-law built. And it's this one here, and this is going to be the strawberry bed this year. Right now it's full of carrots. And this is my squirrel proofing because squirrels started going in and fall and burying their nuts, and then they keep trying to get in and get stuff out. And so that's my squirrel proofing. It's just some old lattice that we had, and we threw it on top of the beds. But so what I think I'm going to do this year is I'm going to move those beds over here, add some beds here that are up off the ground because they're just staying sop and wet. The ground is just, it's not good. I'm going to take it out farther than I had planned. We had originally planned on doing grapevines. I don't think I'm going to do that this year, so I'm going to add some more beds here all the way through to, I guess, I'm thinking where this white fence ends. We'll put our last bed about right here. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. And then I'm going to do a fenced-in area right here. So where the fire pit is going to be the end of the walkway. And on either side of that, I wanted to do individual gardens. So on this side, over here, from the deck out to the fire pit, I want to do my cut flower garden. And in this side over here, where are we at? There. From the deck out to the fire pit would be the herb garden. And then what I want to do is I want to do just a little picket fence around that area. And that's going to be the only space that I have. I want to leave some green for the dogs and for the grandkids. So that's going to be this. All of this here where I'm at now does not get any sun. And so that's going to be our compost bin is going to go here, back here. And then this is my husband's like Zen garden, relaxation garden, some type of flower garden that we'll do. So I have minimal space for all the things I want to grow. I want to grow like 4 different varieties of tomatoes, and I want to grow my corn, and I want to grow my green beans, and you know, so forth and so on. Oh, and don't forget, I want to do this year a whole entire patch dedicated to sunflowers and pumpkins, which I believe we're going to take it out here where it's typically the pollinator garden. I think we're going to move the pollinator garden and make this, you can see this is the pollinator garden. We're going to make this the pumpkin patch. And then I want to grow a row of fruit trees right there between those two trees. So a lot of plans, but then I also want to move so that I have more land and so that I get out of town and get in the country, get where I feel like it's a little bit safer in today's times, have land to pass down to my kids and my grandkids. And I'm also torn about that because, you know, we just finished our big project of renovating the kitchen. And I'm working on like redoing the bathrooms right now. I'm in the middle of that, 3 bathrooms. So I'm finally making the house completely everything that I ever wanted. And then I'm thinking about moving. So I'm really torn. But yeah, so for right now, the plan for this area is it's not level. We used to have a pool here, an above ground pool. Level this out the best we can, affordably. And then I'm going to put down landscape fabric and do the cut flower garden and the herb garden here. And then over here, do as much as I can, as many raised beds as I can. And for me, it's really important that it all looks very cohesive and very nice. You know, I have like my plans are super elaborate. Like I said, I want to do an arch at the fence. I want to where the beds will stop, and before we get into the picket fence going all along here, I want to narrow this out, and I want to put a huge crepe myrtle here and here, and then in between do a really fancy wrought iron gate so that it brings you in, because I would like all of the areas of the yard to be in rooms. Oh, I just realized, yeah, that would be a really good idea. Because, I mean, I have this little bit of space here, but it doesn't get much sun. We have a lot of trees back here. So I'll have to think about it. But, yeah, so for now, that's the plans for this year. So I decided while I was out here to check my carrots. And I was, look, we have carrots. So last year, my carrots all looked like this one because I kind of grew way too much stuff in one bed and they were getting 0 sun. So I'm super excited that I have like a couple actual carrots in there this year that the squirrels did not mess up, because the squirrels went into this bed and what they did was they kicked everything around so that where I had these nice thinned out carrot seeds, they all just ended up in a clump in the middle. And so if anything grew, I knew, you know, it'd be chancy. So this is exciting. So it's super windy today. Super sorry. I haven't had a lot of other chances to come out here when it hasn't been windy because it's been kind of gross out lately. So this is what the Potager garden looks like as it stands. This side, for some reason, we're having a water issue. We believe it's because we live at the bottom of a hill. I'm not really sure. But it just stays wet. It hasn't rained here in a while. And this is just mush. And this bed is wet. The soil is wet. If you look here, you can see how far up the water comes. You focus there. So it comes up to there at least. So it just stays wet. I mean, it's like mush, mushy, to the point where, I mean, you can really hear it mushing. We even have a sinkhole right there in the front. Like, what? So, what I want to do, I was going to add beds to this side. What I think I want to do is I want to take these and I want to move them over here where I was going to build new ones, because over here stays dry. So I want to move these over here And I want to put some kind of beds here that are raised off the ground, similar to this one here and my brother-in-law built me. It's currently my carrot bed. It's going to be the strawberry bed the upcoming year, but something similar to that but bigger. I'm not really sure how exactly the logistics. I let the guys deal with some of that stuff. I give them my rough idea and then they go with it. And so that's what I want to do on this side of the bed, this side of the Potager garden. I want to put a white lattice archway at the gate with flowers and maybe some growing beans, some pole beans, and then the rest over here, beds. And what I want to do from what you've seen from the seeds this year is I want to do my carrots, I want to do my green beans, my kidney beans, cucumbers, tomatoes, lots of tomatoes, lots of peppers, lettuces, kales, Swiss chard, celery. So I need a lot more beds. So I want to take the beds all the way out to at least where the white fence ends. And then the plan is to put a picket fence at the end of this porch right here, at the end of the deck, and take it out and fence this area off. And I'll go around and show you, because this is where the herb garden and the cut flower garden is going to go. Here, this becomes narrow the way that the yard is. Like I said, it's a weird triangle. Here I want to do a crepe myrtle here, a crepe myrtle here, and a wrought iron fancy fence gate right here, because I like to separate all of the gardens off into individual rooms. So the potager will be its own thing. The herb garden and the cut flower garden will be its own thing. So from the fire pit to the deck is going to be that area. It's all going to be very short, like 3-foot picket fence. And then I want to do a walkway right down the middle to the steps. This side here is going to be the herb garden, and this side will be cut flowers. This side, well, both I want to do with landscape fabric and the individual small holes, and maybe use the burn method to burn the holes to plant my herbs and my flowers, which I hope to start indoors this year if I get my grow lights in time. But I only got like 2.5 weeks left to get that done. This part of the yard over here, nothing grows, not even grass. As you can see, it's all moss and mud because it's all trees back here. But back here, I'm going to make this my compost bin. So the hubs is supposed to build me a compost bin to go back here. So that's the general plan for this part of the yard this year. Over here, I want it to remain grass because I want the dogs to have a place to run and play, and the grandkids and to run and play. The only other thing that I want to change in this direction this year is going to be the pumpkin and sunflower patch, which we just did on the other side last year in the potager garden. But this year I wanted to go here, which is right now our pollinator garden. And you see how close the road is, right? But I want to take the pollinator garden and turn that into the pumpkin patch and the sunflower area. And then between these two trees here, where are we at? This one and this one. So this row right here at the top of this hill, because I live on a hill, I want to do like a little row of dwarf fruit trees. I'd like to do Asian pear if I can, cherries, plums, and apple. Maybe apple. We had apple trees before and they didn't work out. But so that's my plan. But as you see, the area that we have to work with it's really small. And like I said, it's a weird triangle. And there's really no sun back here in the summer, or any, really in the summer, because it's just trees galore, and most of them aren't in my yard. There's only actually 3 in my yard. The rest are in the neighbors, so there isn't really anything I can do about that. Just like there isn't anything I think I can do about this wet mess over here, except for adapt. And so that's what I plan on doing. But so that's the plan this year. We're going to take you with us as we do it. Show you some of the guys building things, maybe, hopefully, and getting things done. But that's all that I have planned so far for this year. I don't want to go too big because, again, we're on the fence about moving. We keep talking about it, you know, hinting about it. So I don't want to get too outrageous with my plans, because the people that move in here, be in a neighborhood, they might not want a country setting in their backyard living in a neighborhood. But until next time, everybody, goodbye and have a great day.